Hi, welcome to the new episode. In the previous video, we looked at the structure and appearance of a German infantry company in 1914. Today, we're going to focus on a few new topics. We already know the basic formations used by a company, the line formation and the column. Some of the drill terminology, especially related to weapon handling, is explained in detail in our vademecum of the German musketeer, which we highly encourage you to check out. Link in the description below. We've already discussed the structure of the company, its individual parts, and the functions of each soldier. Today, we're going a bit further into the 1906 infantry regulations and talking about the remaining formations described there, as well as German infantry tactics. We already know that the primary formation of a German infantry company was the extended line. Let's simplify this a bit. Each company consists of 3 infantry platoons, each led by a junior officer, with the company commander at the front. If we place each of these platoons one behind another, we get the platoon column. As you can see, each platoon stands in line formation, one behind another, with the company commander in front. If we multiply this company-level platoon column by 4, meaning the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th companies, and add the battalion commander and his adjutant at the very front, we get the infantry battalion in extended platoons and broad column formation. If each company turns left, we get the deep battalion column formed from extended platoons. These formations allowed for rapid deployment of their battalion for frontal attack and quick commitment of reserves. Let's now recall the squad column you already know from the previous video. Just like before, we simplified this schematic. We set the platoons next to each other, and with the company commander at the front, we get the company column. If we multiply these companies by 4 and once again add the battalion commander and his adjutant at the front, we get the wide column of the battalion in column formation. If each of the companies in this wide formation turns left, and the battalion commander moves to the very front, we get the deep battalion column in column formation. These formations allowed troops prepared for attack to move through terrain restricted in width and made it easier to deploy units for flanking attacks. To attack frontally, the entire column had to turn and change front, or individual platoons had to turn separately. Why are we talking about this, and why did the Germans even practice it? To answer this, we have to go back several centuries and look at the tactics used by European armies ever since the infantry line formation first appeared. Infantry battalions lined up, advanced toward each other, exchanged fire, and if the enemy didn't break under fire, engaged in a bayonet charge. This is, of course, a simplified outline and doesn't represent the entire battlefield, but that isn't our goal today. During Napoleonic Wars, the Germans, who suffered many defeats at Napoleon's hands, understood that deep army reform was necessary. The reform affected the entire army, but what interests us today are the foundations, the infantry units. A German infantry battalion consisted of 4 companies. Each of them had 3 platoons commanded by junior officers. Early 19th century Prussia adopted a doctrine that emphasized autonomy and initiative of platoon leaders. Each platoon could operate independently if required by the tactical situation. Officers were trained to make rapid, independent decisions and exploit opportunities on the battlefield. Most other European armies still relied on strict centralization, meaning no action that deviated from the overall battle plan could be taken without higher approval. In the British Army, this system persisted until 1917, when a platoon leader still could not issue an order without consulting the battalion commander. Communication on the battlefield was primitive, relying almost entirely on mounted or foot messengers. Delivering a message and receiving a response took a long time. Even assuming the messenger survived and the orders made sense at the time they were written, they were often outdated upon arrival, resulting in lost initiative. German infantry, thanks to its flexible command structure, could instantly adapt to changing battlefield circumstances. Lieutenants and second lieutenants could react independently and quickly, for example, by spotting a gap in the enemy line, moving into it, and breaking the formation. The introduction of the fire and movement doctrine in the second half of the 19th century further increased German infantry effectiveness. It assumed that part of the unit delivered covering fire while the rest advanced to storm enemy positions. The purpose of covering fire was not to cause heavy casualties but to pin the enemy down, forcing them to the ground and preventing them from returning effective fire toward the assaulting troops. Yes, this reduced the overall rate of fire and breakthrough power, since only part of the unit was firing, but the assault targeted an enemy already suppressed and surprised. This tactic proved extremely effective, as France painfully discovered in 1870 to 1871, when even smaller German forces could break French lines. France won only one major battle in the entire war, losing all the rest. With industrialization and increasing use of technology, new elements were added to the battlefield. Artillery had been a crucial arm since the Renaissance and flourished under Napoleon, who himself was an artillery officer, but only in the second half of the 19th century did artillery become capable of dominating the battlefield. Steel barrels replaced bronze. Breech-loading mechanisms vastly increased rate of fire, and explosive shells with timed fuses replaced solid shot. Timed fuses introduced a new level of effectiveness to shrapnel shells, allowing artillery to become a decisive factor on the battlefield. By the late 19th century, machine guns appeared. Initially deployed like artillery pieces, they soon became more mobile. The Germans quickly learned from colonial wars and the Russo-Japanese War and adjusted machine gun tactics. Each infantry regiment formed a machine gun company with 12 guns, one for each line company. Already in 1906, just a year after the Russo-Japanese War, machine guns were intended to become organic support weapons for German infantry companies. Let's now see how all these elements worked together on a 1914 battlefield. German light artillery, here using the Feldkanone 1896, opened fire to disrupt enemy formations, cause casualties, and destroy obstacles in front of the advancing infantry, such as wire entanglements or makeshift barricades. Machine guns assigned to the unit delivered continuous covering fire as well as one company, while another charged with bayonets. The bayonet assault was carried out in two phases. The first phase was the advance toward the enemy position at a rhythmic run.
Laufschritt.
Soldiers ran in unison, on the same foot, with rifles held vertically on the right side. This kept the formation compact and allowed officers to intervene if necessary. At 100 meters from the enemy, the artillery ceased fire and the second phase of the assault began. On the officer's command,
Fällt das Gewehr Marsch Marsch.
The first rank lowered their rifles into the thrusting position, and the soldiers sprinted at full speed. The line broke at this moment, as each man ran at his own pace, but the goal was to cover the final, fully exposed stretch as quickly as possible. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click like and subscribe or leave a comment down below. See you in the next episode.